Well, we have one empty chair because we're just missing one member of the search committee. That's Lori Daniels.
Oh, okay.
Which allows us, thank you for letting us
no problem.
record it so that she can also view the interview. Thank you on behalf, I think, of everybody. Not I think, I know.
Not me.
Was it your turn for the sarcastic, or was it mine?
Good cop, bad cop, all good.
Bad cop, worse cop.
So anyway, thank you for your interest in the position.
Thank you.
The process today, you can tell we've got a handout. We have questions prepared that we want to ask.
Okay.
And it's just kind of random who's asking, but we kind of go around the table, everybody gets a chance. And we have one question at the end that's just a chance for all of us if we have any follow-ups. And it's also possible that follow-ups might come during the other part of the interview in response to other questions. And then at the very end, we've set time aside so that if you have any questions, that you can pose those, and hopefully we can help with helpful answers.
Great.
Am I missing anything?
No.
Okay, so we'll just do introductions real quickly, go around, and then I think Julie has the first question, so that'll be convenient.
Okay. Stacy Anderson, flights.
April Ringwood, Pepin ASL.
Also known as Lori.
It's funny when I know everyone, so that's
Jackie Hughes.
Kent's on math.
Okay.
Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
Julie.
Hey, Julie.
So I guess I can dive into the first question.
Okay.
Oh, can I interrupt?
Yes.
Because I forgot last time. We're going to try to take notes, so there may be
that's
times when
fine.
there are lulls. We're just
Okay.
trying to catch up with our handwriting.
Yes, fine. I don't mind it being informal, so that's all right. So you can go ahead and do that. Means you're being good students.
That's awesome. In your application, you talked about an interest in two areas of work. Developing and implementing diversity and inclusion related learning opportunities for faculty, and participating in planning, facilitating, and evaluating a course design institute. So we're going to take each one of those one at a time. So if you could start by describing your plan for developing and implementing diversity and inclusion related learning opportunities for faculty.
Okay. It's kind of a passion of mine. I've been on our diversity and inclusion committee in our college for quite some time, and have worked with a lot of different international office, et cetera, and doing a lot of things with faculty or diversity and inclusion. And back when I was at Blodgett as a supervisor, I was also a educator for staff within the hospital. And at that time, we did a lot of diversity training. But that was when diversity training was more, this is what diversity is. And it really wasn't about how do you help people deal with a diverse patient population. How do you, here at Ferris, if we put it into this context, how do you deal with students that have that diversity? So I think we need to, here at Ferris, go beyond just this is what diversity is, because I think that we should be beyond that. Instead, we should be planning workshops, sessions that would help faculty educate that diverse student population. So that's one aspect of it. I think we could do that either in a semester-long series and call it some type of diversity workshops, inclusion workshops, or whatever we would want to title that. I think we'd have to work very closely with some of the other offices here within the university also. I think there definitely needs to be collaboration from that aspect. So one thing would be teaching faculty how to teach a diverse student population. And we know there's a lot of different meanings for that word diverse within the classroom. The other piece of it is making sure that we're able to make things accessible for that diverse patient, or I keep going patient because I was talking about Blodgett, sorry, student population. So there's really two different tracks we could go. So in other words, one would be teaching faculty how to teach to a diverse student population. The second would be how to use different tools, how to help students with accessibility within the classroom, and as we all know, that is really a big thing right now on campus. We have a lot of different groups that are working towards that. But I think we need that in the trenches. We need it in the classroom. Because a lot of people are coming to me and saying, how do I embed text? How do I close caption something? And I really think we could do a series that would help faculty do more of that, especially in their online classes. When they don't see those students face to face, they don't know what some of those disabilities are. So if you set up your course initially to meet a very diverse student group, then you really don't hit those little roadblocks along the way as you're teaching. So I don't know that I have a super firm plan in mind. You know, I don't have a great catchy title yet. I don't really have step by step what I would do each week. I would hope to work with everyone and see what type of templates that you'd want me to use, and then I could go from there. I'm pretty good at thinking quick on my feet and putting things like that together.
So what would success look like? And how would you know if your work in those two areas was successful?
I think success would be looking at some of the objectives that were written into these courses and seeing if the individual faculty members met those objectives, meeting them through assessment criteria. They could have their objective maybe being that they have been able to meet a diverse student population. How do they do that? You know, accessibility tools, whatever they had there. Maybe success with the students, 90% of the students achieved an 80 or greater on this assignment that was based on, the accessibility or however you wanted to do that. I think there's tools that you could use to do that. Feedback, obviously, through surveys. See if they felt from beginning to end, they gained a better appreciation for that. You could even give, in some ways, a pre-testing tool to the faculty members to see if they really had an understanding. And then by helping them go through this series of workshops, were they able to implement some of those tools within their courses and make it easier for their students.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you want me to talk about the other one at all, or no? The course designer, is that different? That's a
me.
different,
You're
okay,
about-
sorry.
That's the next question.
Sorry.
You were anticipating it. No. So let's explore your plan for the second area of work.
Okay.
Please describe your ideas for planning, facilitating, and evaluating a course design institute.
Okay. I'm kind of excited about that one because I think that there's a lot of faculty members that have been through kind of the first phase of doing the Blackboard and maybe going through Quality Matters, but now they're up and running in those courses and they don't know now really how to evaluate the success of them. They're not sure if they're still doing things the right way, or they need to add that next dimension. So for faculty that have gone through that, I think a course design or redesign institute would be a really great method to really explore how they're doing. There's a lot of new faculty members now that maybe have not gone through some of that too that would need help. So I see it as an institute that could help those that really need initial help in designing their course, but are kind of a redesign for those faculty members that teach the same thing every single semester and they don't really change things up. I looked out on the web and I really saw a lot of other faculty centers, no matter what their names are, or faculty centers that are running these course design institutes. And a lot of them have them set up as 2-day workshops. And there was even one, University of Toronto had a kind of neat one that was based on Dee Fink's book and kind of followed her design, and that was kind of interesting. But some of them are, they tell the faculty members, this is as if you were going to go to Grand Rapids or Chicago or whatever for this institute, but you're staying home, type of thing. And they really made people think of it as a conference, and they kept them in that conference center or in, all together as if they really were away doing this, and really made it a very intense 2-day conference. So I think that would be really an interesting concept to explore if that was feasible. The evaluation of it, again, I think is going to show up in the way that they deliver their courses and their student satisfaction through either IDEA or SAI, or whatever tool that they're using. They could, again, build it into it as an objective for themselves or for the students. We could do separate surveys. There's a lot of ways I think we could evaluate that. It would be great if we had more faculty members, hopefully, knock on wood, that the Blackboard Exemplary Awards are up and going still. But that would be great if we could get more people to run through that just to see how well those courses are designed. And that could be something that you have to do by going through the Design Institute, is say, hey, you have to put this up for review now. It's a possibility.
So, there was the follow-up of what success looks like, but I think you addressed that with the, and that
I
you'd
would
like
love
to
to
say
I
more
would love
about
to
that.
see every single online course or hybrid course or whatever you want to call it here, even just web enhanced. I would like to see it go to a higher level. I'm saddened sometimes when, even in my own college, when I see the same course that there's 5 sections of it, and there are 5 very different looking sections. And I feel sometimes we're doing that some students a disservice by having somebody that's not really, being active in their course. They're not building that sense of community in that course at all. And we really are doing them a disservice. It would be nice to see a little better quality in some of those courses. And that's a frustration too, I'm sure, trying to get there. And you guys have been working hard trying to get there. Okay.
That's where we're all.
Okay, so please explain why you are interested in faculty development work.
Okay. I've had this interest for a very long time. Like I said, back when as I said before, when I worked at Blodgett, I always wanted to help with the education piece. And even though I was supervisor in Nuke Med, that was my full-time job, I did have a certain number of hours per month that was dedicated to staff education. And I really enjoyed doing that very much. And I always thought that was one of those things I kind of looked forward to doing. It was different than my normal routine, and I really enjoyed that. At this point, I've been here 21 years, and I'm at that point where I'm the senior faculty member in many ways. And I see it in some ways of giving back, playing it forward a little bit. And I would hope that I have learned something along my journey. I attend a lot of the faculty center events. I think Andrew was teasing me one time. He said there's a 50-50 chance Sheila will be there. Because I do attend many of them, and I enjoy them. I have helped facilitate the Quality Matters course. I did a one with Christine Conley Souls also. I helped with the development of the training and did a lot of the Blackboard training for a lot of faculty across campus. Enjoyed it very much. And like I said, I hope that I'm at that point where maybe I can give some, I don't know, we'll say wisdom back to some of the faculty members that are younger and starting out. I know when I started here at Ferris, I didn't really have a lot of help from my peers at all. This center has really changed that focus a lot for a new faculty member. I basically was thrown in an office and said, here you go, and really no support. And I really don't want people doing that. But I think I just enjoy it. I'm very interactive, I think, in front of the classroom. I'm not a big lecture, blah, blah, blah type of person. People come to me to say, hey, what can I do innovative in the classroom? And I'm always coming up with some type of game for them to play or something that is going to be more student-focused. And I do a lot of that informally. Every day, there's hardly a day goes by that I don't have somebody stop my office and say, hey, can you help me with something with Blackboard? Today I had 2 people actually stop. One asked me about something in Grade Center, which I sent to Jackie, by the way, because she's the guru. And the other one was like, I'm trying to develop this course next semester, and I really don't want to just lecture. What can I do? And so we sat and talked about it for a long time. So I don't know if that answered your question okay.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
Okay.
How do you involve faculty in your work who are not on the Big Rapids campus?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's an excellent one. Distance learning is becoming such a big thing, and we have so many adjunct faculty members, and I'll talk about my college because I have experience there, but a lot of adjunct. And what we did last year was they did have to come on campus during that first week, the faculty week, and I sat down and I ran a session for them on Blackboard and just made sure everybody understood it and got them up to snuff. So one way, of course, is to bring them on campus, but that's not always feasible because we have people that are in Colorado, Montana, etc. So, you know, you could do a couple things. Of course, you can have some type of webinar and you could do training that way. We also have kind of a point person in our college, you know, for certain different types of issues, and that's a person that they would call and they would help. But through the faculty center, I would think that we could involve them through webinars. We could involve them through Adobe, you know, if they wanted to do it that way. There are, why not have a Fairs Connect shell of some type? You know, if somebody has some commonalities, could we put something together in a shell and make initial, is it only tenure track?
The new faculty
The
transition.
new faculty
program,
transition.
That's open to non-tenure track.
Yeah, I
everybody.
would think that would be, yeah, our avenue for here on campus. And then we'd have to go for anybody that's off campus with some of those ideas I talked about that are at distance learning. The other thing it would be nice to capture is the second year and third year group and continue with that. I hear a lot of faculty members say that they wish they could continue that until they became tenured. And so that would be great to see that transition from year to year, because we know from first year to second year, there's a huge learning curve, and they have very different needs that second year than they did the first year. And then the third year, very different needs. And then they're getting really antsy in that fourth year about, I gotta get my portfolio done, I've got it. And most of the colleges have some commonalities in how to develop those portfolios. And so that would be really interesting, I think, to continue that track for each year until they became tenured. Good questions.
Okay. How would you draw in faculty who normally don't participate in FCTL's activities?
That's a fantastic question. You can lead a horse to water, right? But you can't make them drink type scenario. I think there's always going to be a certain number of faculty members that aren't going to participate no matter what. And unfortunately, I think that's true. I don't know how you can make them do it unless you somehow wrote it into their evaluations or there was some type of penalty for not doing it. I've heard it. I know I'm faculty, so I hear people say, I'm not doing that, or I'm not going, I'm fine. Everything's good. And how do you prove to them that it's not all fine and it's not all good? You know, I know the department heads and everyone time we're talking about this, and talking about some type of tie-in with post-tenure review, or tie it in with their, you know, promotion merit, that they must participate in X number. And we do have that built in, but nothing says it has to be through the faculty center. But they do have to do some type of professional development. So that would motivate some of them that may normally not want to come. I do think we need to make sure that we offer sessions that reach a wide variety of interest. And I know that's really hard, and you only have X number that you can do each semester. But when you start hearing, you know, on campus some certain buzzwords or things like, you know, hey, this accessibility, you know, I really want to embed things in my course, but I don't know how to do that. And then all of a sudden, bing, there's an offering for something like that. That might draw in some of those that wouldn't necessarily come for something like a book discussion, or wouldn't come for, you know, things that they don't see as benefiting them. So I think our best bet is to really keep an ear out to what is of interest to the faculty at that time, and be timely in offering those things. And I think the offerings that we do have need to have some type of return on their investment. You're always going to get those that want to come to things, the 50-50 people, okay? But you're not always going to get some of those that just aren't going to come no matter what. We have people in our building that will say, I'm not doing anything extra unless I get paid for it. And the PDI, of course, is one way to maybe get people in that normally wouldn't come. But that shouldn't be the reason that they want to come to these things. But sometimes that's the incentive, unfortunately, that gets them here. And you guys are well aware of that. I didn't know. Did I answer that for you okay?
I just read the question.
Understood.
Please describe your relationships with faculty outside of your academic department.
I think I have a pretty strong relationship with a lot of people outside of my college, outside of my department. As I said, I've been around here for 21 years now. I know a lot of people. I've been very, very active on campus. I did 2 terms on Academic Senate. I'm part of the Academic Advising Council. I've been on a lot of task forces here on campus. I'm currently on the Provost Search Committee. I think that if you were to ask other faculty members, many of them know who I am. I would hope that they respect me and what I do. I can't think of any great enemies I have out there among faculty. I don't ruffle feathers too much, I don't think. So I think my relationship is good with people outside of my college. Like I said, I'm very, very active, and that helps. In fact, I was walking with Fatima, which some of you know, and everybody that we crossed paths with said, "Hey, Sheila, hi, Sheila." And she goes, "Do you know everyone?" and I get that a lot with the students, too, because I teach a lot of our core classes, so I know every student in the building. And it's really fun for me because I'm adjunct for commencement, and as I'm saying their names as they come across, it's always fun because I know so many of them, and so they always give me a grin, and, it's that type of thing. So I think it's good, and I think people respond well to me when I do those type of training sessions. They seem to be very open and responsive.
Everybody flip at once.
It's like church.
Must be April's turn.
We're all looking at
Good read of nonverbal cues.
Thank you. I'm very good that way.
How do you prioritize your work?
That's a wonderful question too. I like that. I always have a lot of irons in the fire. I have to admit, and I think I'm pretty good at prioritizing. I get done the things that need to get done first. My students do come first. I mean, that is the reason that I'm here. It's the reason we're all here. So I am very responsive to my students' needs. With that said, I keep up on things very well in my classes, so I do have free time to do those things that I do enjoy doing. I'm writing a grant right now, for instance, a mini grant for the diversity to bring one of our best practices health disparity speaker on campus, and I do find time to do those type of things too. So I think I'm very good at prioritizing. I mean, I'm one of those people, I always say I wear so many hats during the day, it's a wonder I don't have really bad hair, but but I'm able to, I think, transition very well from one thing to another. I'm a hard worker, so when I get on a project, I really do follow up and I do complete it. I think people would tell you that if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And sometimes it does mean prioritizing them over something else, but that's okay, because it gets done. So.
How do you set goals?
That's good. Goals. I'm kind of a thinker in a lot of ways. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think things through, and I kind of brainstorm, and I'll put things on paper, and I'll try to come up with, what is my goals. In fact, I did that before this meeting. I kind of went and brainstormed different things that would be great for, faculty center to cover. So I do a lot of that. I think I set goals based on some things that need to be done, obviously, like your classes, etc. But I also like to set some personal goals for myself. I might say, I want to try to learn more about some topic, and I really do try to do that, and I try to always improve myself if I can, if that makes sense. I do like to talk with other people a lot when kind of setting up goals for things. I'm lead instructor for one of our courses, our statistics course, and I'm not going to go ahead and set that goal on my own of what that course should look like. That's not fair to these other people that are teaching it. So I do like to be very collaborative. I like to be collegial about things. So for that course, I'm like, what do you guys see as these objectives? And let's work through this together. I was a program director for 18 years and a supervisor before that, and there's times that you do have to kind of set some goals for the good of whatever it is that you're working with, whether it's a nuke med program or faculty center or whatever it happens to be. But yeah, that's kind of how I do that. You're welcome.
It's me. Back to me. So the next question probably has more setup than the actual question itself. So
That's always fun.
Yeah. One of the things that the team in the center really wants is a faculty in residence who will be an integral part of that. And one of the things that we think is really key to that is to be physically present as much as possible in the center.
Right.
So we would fully recognize, and this is true for all of us, that we have a lot of activities. So whenever you would have activities that you'd have to be leading a workshop or facilitating or meeting with a group or meeting with faculty, that those obviously would be times when you're not in the office, which we would have for you, have an office in the center. The position's 20 hours. It's a half-time position, so we look at it as having 20 hours.
Yep.
So those times when you're not away doing faculty center work, but, and whatever hours remain of those 20, would you be able and willing then to spend that in the center?
Oh, definitely.
Physically in the
Yeah,
center?
definitely. And I even spoke to my department head and my dean before I applied for this, stated what the obligations were to you, and they all agreed that that was very doable for me. My schedule, a lot of times, like this coming semester, for instance, I have nothing on Monday and Friday as far as face-to-face student contact. Those are ideal times to really have a nice block of time to spend. I currently, with the way our program is set up, in fall semester, I only really teach 2 1-credit nuke med classes. Everything else I do are core.
Okay.
I don't have to be teaching those core classes. I do it just to have that enough load, if that makes sense. So I do have the flexibility to be very physical here. And I would want to be, if I got this position, I would want to be a part of the team. I don't want to feel like I'm sitting over there and coming over here periodically just to do things. As I said before, I like that collaboration. I like the teamwork, and I would want to be physically here. Yeah. But I did, like I said, make sure that I talked to my supervisors about that to make sure there was no problem.
If selected to be the faculty in residence, how can FCTL make your experience as enjoyable and productive as possible?
Wow. Are you guys as good at cooks as ours? Potluck, which is I'm teasing you.
No, food seems to be
I'm teasing.
We've learned where our weaknesses are and we cater.
Yeah. I know. Andrew said one time, there's never a lack of food over there. So.
No.
It's good.
Well, there is Andrews in it.
That's true.
No, all joking aside. But, no, seriously. No, I'm teasing. Openness, I guess, is a good thing. I keep saying this, but I'm a very collaborative person. I really like teamwork. I like talking to people. I like brainstorming with people. That would be enjoyable to me. I know some people don't like that, but I'm like, hey, what do you think about? I would really enjoy that very much. At the beginning, obviously there's going to be a learning curve, and it would be wonderful to really know more of the nuances within the center, and that would be a good thing to know, coming in. Understand the atmosphere, which I think I have a pretty good feel for. I don't think anybody here seems to be very, closed about things. So I'm very enthusiastic person, and not over the top like enthusiastic, but I would hope that that would help. I would bring that to people. That would be enjoyable for me to be able to have that camaraderie and I'm a healthcare person. A healthcare person is a different league, I think,
Have to
sometimes.
be.
We're caring, we like people, and we like being around people, so, yeah. And help me as I need it, like I said, the learning curve I know will be at first a little bit.
Do we have any follow-up questions?
I do.
Yeah, please.
I was just curious when you were talking about the, how you would measure success for the area of work regarding planning, facilitating, and evaluating course design institute. You had talked about, the evaluation process
Mhm.
and how students succeeds. And you talked about it'd be nice to be able to require, the online institute for online courses.
Yeah.
But I started wondering as you were talking about your opinion on why don't people update their classes more regularly?
That's $1 million question, isn't it, in some ways? I think some of it, and I'm probably stereotyping a little bit, but I think sometimes it's laziness. They don't want to keep updating things. Let's just copy it over and keep copying it over and copying it over, and they just really have no desire to do that. We had this discussion in our college not too long ago, and some people were talking. It was kind of an informal talk, but some people were saying, I don't have the time, which I think is not true. They just don't want to make the time to do that. So that's one reason. I mean, obviously. I think sometimes it's not knowing what to do. I just met with someone you saw me up here on Tuesday, meeting with someone that said, well, I've never had, and they're going to be teaching a course that I'm a lead instructor on, and part of that course is our discussions. They go, well, I've never had a discussion before in a course. I don't even know how to do that. And I'm kind of, taken aback by that. And sometimes it's the fear of not knowing how to do it. But that's when they should be using, the center to learn those things. So, and that was something that came up in our conversation in our college too, was not having the time, not knowing how to do it, not feeling like, and this has nothing to do with you guys, but not feeling that they were being compensated for doing that. Many instructors and faculty members, I don't know if you could attest this too, that they feel they should get monies or release time for development of courses for each semester. And if they're not going to get that, then why am I going to put the time into it? And that's such a hard mindset to break. But those are...
I asked the question is because as you were talking, I was struck at, all the side conversations with
Yeah.
faculty
Yeah.
across campus and in your department. And I was thinking, well, if you know these reasons,
Yeah.
maybe we could come up with a way to
Right,
get
exactly.
them in. And so the second part of the question is with these reasons, do you have ideas on how to leverage that to get them to come and get help? I know
It's hard to, to think about how to incentivize it in some way to make it meaningful to them without hitting them somewhere that, hurts. In other words, tying it in with their post-tenure review or tying it in with promotion, merit, etc. Because that's not a thing that traditionally is always looked at is these updating of the courses, even though it should be. I can't really think of anything like right at the top of my mind, but it's something that I would really love to explore more. Because I was frustrated when I was listening to people. I'm like, really? Come on, or they hear, I have a family, I have 3 kids, I don't have time to do this. Well, this is your job, though. I hate to say that, but I Jack, I wish I had something to answer, because I'd love to sound like I really knew what I was talking about there. But I think I need to really explore it more. To be truthful, I think it needs to be explored.
If I
I'm
may,
done. Thank you.
Do you see that as a problem with online courses? I mean, do you have experience with people in face-to-face? Do they update those courses more
No.
frequently? No. Okay. I just was curious.
I think
Okay.
it's really across the board from from a face-to-face, web-enhanced, a mixed delivery, an online. I think at every single level that problem exists. I really don't see it as just an online problem. One of the problems we're seeing in our college, and you may see this in other colleges too, is that you do have adjuncts that are coming and teaching these courses, and they're canned courses. And so they don't add anything of their own. They just use what's there. And if what's there is not very put together very well, then what you're doing is perpetuating that. And then that adjunct person thinks that that is how the courses should look. And that's scary too. So we need to, and that's why that's a good question about how do we get some of these adjuncts and distance learners to embrace that change and learn.
Or know that they can.
Or know they can. And that's
Yeah.
part of it too. That might be part of the culture, is that they think they can't.
Well,
Yeah.
some places they might
I've
teach,
seen that in
might
other-
not allow it, yeah, so, anyway,
Yeah,
yeah. so it's
because
interesting.
I know with that, like I said, I'm doing that, that stats course as a lead instructor, and I do create the shell, but I make them add in certain things, because I said, that's academic freedom. You know, you need to put, I have a great spot where it says materials for instructors only, it's a little button, and it's all kinds of supplemental things. It's like, use these in their entirety, use them, parts, whatever you want to do with this, but make this course your own, and we really sit and talk about that. And we don't want this to look the same per se. We want all the assessments to be there. We want the same criteria for grading. We have to use the same syllabus, to keep that continuity. But beyond that, please make this course your own. And the new faculty members that I have, and they're mainly public health faculty members, they're really embracing that, and they're like, oh, I like that I can, make this kind of fun. At my discussion, I can make it a case scenario if I want to, right? Yeah. Somebody else says, oh, I hate case scenarios, but I love to have them do something more active, like roll dice 10 times and roll it 40 times. I go, that's cool. So, and then we put those ideas into that development shell, and then they can pull that stuff out if they want to, and they pick and choose it. So we did this semester, and this will be the second semester doing it, but we've enhanced it so much more this semester that I'm excited about that.
In your Nuke Med program,
Yeah.
when they graduate, do they have to take some type of licensure exam? before
They do.
And how do they do on those licensure exams in general? What kind of pass rate do you have?
We have a very good pass rate. I had about 4 years in a row that was 100%. So
So-
we're in the high 80s through 100%.
Let me play devil's advocate. This
Yeah,
is just
please.
devil's advocate. I'm a faculty member that you've been asking me to change, or hinting to change the course design.
Mhm.
I can go to you and say, we have such a high pass rate in the licensure exam, why should we change it?
Right, yeah. And it's not so much, sometimes in our professional core courses that this is occurring. What the problem that we're seeing is more in those, the core courses that everybody has to take in our college, that we have many different faculty members teaching.
I
We have a
see.
lot of adjunct, we have people from every profession doing that. In my program, I think that, I hope, knock on wood, we're doing a good job because our pass rates are very high, and our students are getting the things that they need. But you remember, we have 2 people in our program, 2 faculty members, so we can work really closely together, and we both want to, be innovative, and we want to do a good job. Some of the programs do not have that pass rate, and they are under the they are on the radar for that reason, that you need to change your curriculum, you need to change your learning objectives, you need to learn change your delivery methods. Something's got to change to get that pass rate up, and we keep a pretty good
So-
eye on it over there.
So could that be the incentive?
It could be. That would be a great incentive. Mhm. Yeah.
So your students take your sections?
Yes.
Okay, and other programs take their sections?
Their sections, correct.
And there are different exams and different,
Yes.
you have
Respiratory
basically
has a different one, nursing, all of them, we have a different accrediting body and a different exam that we have to take at the end.
No, I don't.
And
meant
then we
that.
have the
I
core.
don't- that
Oh,
wasn't
I'm
what I
sorry.
meant. What I meant was the basic courses that you're talking about that are taught differently.
The core.
Those
Yeah.
core
Mhm.
courses don't have like a common final exam or anything like that. It's just independent, but they have like the same syllabus, basically?
Some do.
An outline?
Some do. Our COHP 101, which is Intro to the Healthcare System.
Mhm.
And I'm teaching one of those face-to-face this semester. I have one next semester, face-to-face. We do have canned exams for that. But how you teach, we have to all give this exact same test through that course.
Uh-huh.
But how you deliver your material, you can do that however you want.
Okay.
And that's where we have some people that stand there and read the lecture, off the PowerPoint, the whole, lecture. And we have some that we don't lecture at all, and we do things interactive, in just different learning environments.
And is there different grades?
There are, and they do. In TrackDat, we're watching that really closely right now, for that reason. Yeah, and that you're right. That could be a very good incentive. I just don't know that every college is doing that.
Langham Lit would be a good example. Lit 150 and 250 are
All over the place.
all over the place.
And my kids are taking chemistry and they're taking physics, and they're all, okay, who do I take so that I know that I'm going to get a good, and they're, I rate my professor, and they're talking to each other, and, all those type of things. So it's interesting. But that's a great point, yeah. Within our college, I think that would work fairly well. Probably technology, I would think, would be in the same boat, because many of them take an exam and going through that step block program with the same type of instructors too, I would think would be the same, but I'm not sure about the others. Yeah, good point.
Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, I guess what do you expect? I know you have, in your thing 20 hours and all this, but what do you expect for somebody that is the faculty in residence? What are your expectations?
I'd like to see someone stay and complete the 3 years, somebody you can count on to complete tasks and be there.
Well, that I can do so far, so.
Collaborative and curious and thoughtful would be 3 traits that come to mind.
Great.
Yeah.
I would add a good listener, able to dive into difficult problems, whatever those might be, from curriculum to interpersonal to new opportunities, be able to do more than a superficial dig into what understanding the problem and strategies for addressing it. I would say someone who can help us reach faculty who would like to participate, or maybe who don't, but
Yeah.
haven't found a good reason yet to participate.
Great.
Enhance our programming, expand it, provide more opportunities for faculty.
Are you expecting the person to start for fall semester or summer? I guess that was.
Fall at the latest.
Fall.
Summer is an option if that's, we certainly can accommodate that. It depends on the faculty and residents' availability and interest.
Okay.
But fall at the latest.
And do you see that first semester of somebody starting, being able to dive right in as far as being a facilitator for some of your already established workshops, or is that more of that development phase first and then move into that over time?
I would kind of expect to be able to dive right in
Okay.
with at least some elements, and then be developing something kind of deeper
Yeah.
further on.
Because that's what I would personally enjoy, would be to be able to get right in there and not, kind of sit back one semester and just get the lay of the land. I like to jump in, and so that would be, okay, great. I think those were the only 3 really big questions I had.
Good questions.
I don't have anything. I just thought it was funny because she said good questions and now he's saying.
I know.
Sorry.
That's a teacher in me, I'm so sorry. I always tell somebody, there's no such thing as a dumb question, so whenever I ask a question in class, I always say, good question, or that was you thought hard about that one, or I try to say something.
Usually Friday afternoon meetings, we can have dumb questions.
Yeah. Well, I have one young man in lab because I say there's no such thing as dumb questions. So in lab, he'll go, oh. A lot of them call me Mrs. Mac. So they're Mrs. Mac, Mrs. Mac. So I come over there and he goes, okay, if Superman and Spider-Man got in a contest, who would win? He goes, is that a dumb question? No, that's a very good question.
Research that further.
Yeah. Where do babies come from? We ask those type of things all the time. So, yeah. It's very
Healthcare
interesting.
professionals asking where babies come from.
Yeah. That's scary, isn't it?
Page 48.
But there's no yeah.
So if you watched Modern Family last night,
I'll say
you
that's-
would know the answer.
Oh.
That wasn't
there you go.
a very
It's
good
not an
answer.
appropriate
It was.
citation. Come on.
We just talk about that at
Who
lunch
was
about
offering the
diversity. We
explanation?
said that's a
Diversity.
perfect show
Was
to
it
watch for
Canada?
diversity
No,
is Modern
it's
Family.
their daughter.
Their daughter,
Lily?
Lily. Yeah, oh, and it's an awesome
Oh.
answer.
It's
I-
awesome.
I'm gonna need to-
It's amazing.
Yeah, you've
I
gotta
would
see it.
Or
never-
YouTube it.
Netflix.
It's great. I don't watch that very often, but I saw that one and it was a great answer.
So we'll put
That's
that on
funny.
the Faculty Center's Facebook page.
So-
Well, go ahead.
Okay, I was just when you thought you might be able to reach a decision about
so
this.
that was
Yeah. You were probably gonna do that. I'm
That's
so
the
sorry, I
very
jumped the gun.
last- very last talking point.
Yeah.
So, this is the last of the 3 interviews.
Okay.
The search committee is meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
If we can arrive at a recommendation, then I'll try to catch up with Bill Potter early
Okay.
next week. So I'm hoping sometime next week
Okay,
to be able
great.
to get in touch with you and the other 2
Okay.
finalists.
Great.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Thank you all for
Yep, you're
sitting
welcome.
here on a afternoon, right?
You're welcome.
Thanks for
Yeah,
taking
thank
the
During
you.
time to
exam
come
week,
in.
right? Yeah.
Stay on the front screen so they can still see the words.
Yes.